Assalamualaikum and a very good day to everyone. So today we from Group 6 represent about our mini project which is speaker. Let's start with abstract. Abstract to increase productivity and innovate our projects so that they can be used for multiple purpose. Introductions that are properly formulated and persuasively presented helps to establish a bond between the speaker and the audience, increase the speaker's credibility and expertise, and motivate the audience to listen. The first step is to draw the project device while labeling the component name. Next, we need to take the measurements on the project to help with the redrawing process in AutoCAD. Finally, the project drawing must be created in AutoCAD using the 3D modeling concept, and all of the small components must be assembled into one component as planned in our project, namely speakers. We move to introduction. Objective of the project. Product design goal is to produce a set of speakers where can increase the productivity in certain situations. Aim is to increase the production and expand the scope of the project. Team members' job scope. First, Rabatul Adawiyah. Her job scope abstract, introduction and video slide. Then we move to Nur Hazima. The job scope is procedures, sketch components, AutoCAD design and make video presentation. The third one is Muhammad Izwan Hafif. His job scope is discussion and conclusion. And the last one is Muhammad Afan Karim. The job scope is AutoCAD redraw and video presentation. So this is our Gantt chart. Every component in speakers have its own functions. Firstly is T-yoke. The yoke is a heavy piece of metal at the bottom of a speaker that influences the magnet assembly's efficiency, the magnetic field and temperature of the voice cord and power management. Second is magnet. The magnet is an important component of every speaker. These are the driving force of the speaker and are in charge of moving the cone. These magnets and their magnetic fields generate vibration, which result in the sounds you hear from the speaker. Next is washer. A speaker's washer or top plate is often composed of iron and shaped like a huge washer. The magnetic circuit of the speaker is completed by the front plate, magnet and yoke. Efficiency, power management and overall sound are all affected by the diameter, thickness and spacing. Then frame. The basket or chassis, sometimes known as the basket or chassis, provide a sturdy framework to which the driving components are attached. The next component is spider. A speaker spider is a sort of suspension that is responsible for centering the speaker's moving elements and limiting side-to-side movement. Voice coil. A coiled wire affixed to the apex of a speaker cone that acts as an electromagnet. The current flowing through the coil generates the appropriate force on the speaker cone. Next is pepper cone. The cone, one of the most well-known components of a speaker, determines the frequency response as well as the overall sound quality of the speaker. The voice coil activates the cone which push air back and forth to generate sound wave for your listening enjoyment. Then is dust cap. The dust cap, also known as a dust cover or dome, is located in the middle of the speaker diaphragm and prevent dust, debris and other particles from accessing the voice coil and other components. We move to procedures. Firstly, the measurement procedures to 2D drawing. First of all, speaker sketches have been drawn several times to get the ideal shape. After the speaker shape has been selected, the speaker size and measurements have been taken based on normal size as in reality based on references on the internet. Next, a 2D drawing was drawn on the paper and the measurements were transferred to the drawing. Second is procedures to assemble and disassemble the speaker. Once the two drawings were ready to be drawn, we proceed with our project by making 3D drawings of isometric and orthographic views. The speaker body and handle have been shaped and fully pressed by 25mm. Then common fillet was used to produce curved corners of radius 1mm. Finally, all buttons and charge point have been formed and fully pressed. Procedures to draw components. T-yoke. Firstly, a circle of radius of 5mm was drawn and pressed full of size 2mm. Subsequent circles were drawn with radius of 3mm, 2mm and 1mm and all were pressed fully by 3mm. Next is magnet. Circle of radius 5mm and 3mm were drawn and were fully pressed by 2mm. Washer. Circle of 5mm and 3mm were drawn and were fully pressed by 2mm. Then 5 circle of radius 1mm were drawn and were fully pressed by 2mm. Next is frame. First of all, the first part was drawn by making circles of diameter 10mm and 20mm and common loft was used. Next, the second part was drawn by making a circle with diameter of 16mm and then the circle was divided into 4 parts. Then, each dividing line on the circle was offset by 0.5mm and the original lines and unnecessary parts have been trimmed. Each remaining line and curve was joined together and full pressed by 2 mm. The third part was drawn by matching a circle with a diameter of 2 mm and was fully pressed by 2 mm. Then part 1, 2 and 3 that have been drawn earlier were combined together and the substrate common was used. So next is spider. Firstly, a circle of radius 3 mm was drawn and was fully pressed by 2 mm. Then a circle of radius 2 mm was drawn and was fully pressed to fill the circle. Lastly, a circle of radius 1 mm was drawn and was fully pressed by 2 mm. Voice call. Firstly, a circle of radius 2 mm was drawn and was fully pressed by 2 mm. Then a circle of radius 2 mm and 1 mm was drawn and was full pressed by 1 mm. Next is peppercorn. A circle of radius 1.5 mm and 5.5 mm was drawn and command love was used. Then command torus was used where it had a radius of 5.5 mm and a width of 0.9 mm. Lastly, dust cap. Firstly, a circle of radius 5.5 mm was drawn and was fully pressed by 0.5 mm. Then command torus was used where it had a radius of 5.5 mm and a width of 1 mm. We move to discussion. Firstly, AutoCAD commands. Basic drawing commands: line, circle, box, wedge, cylinder, measure, slice, and rotate. 3D commands: press pull, extrude, union, subtract, 3D rotate, move, and torus. And lastly, editing commands: fillet, join, trim, wallet array, erase, offset, mirror 3D, join, and rotate. We move to technique and difficulty. Firstly, the difficulties. Draw the device that create known as speaker was the design of the speaker that more to modern era, which a design that have its own unit and function. It have a complex measurement that make us take some time to make it perfect. As a new design of speaker, it take much action to make it perfectly can be used for any level of age. Technique. The speakers draw in AutoCAD, we start it from the outer body, which is the biggest part of the speaker. After that, we need to be alert with some small details such as the wedges, slides, and much more. When the biggest part complete, we continue with small things such as the button, charging panel, USB cable panel, and some more. After the details complete, we make some checkup on our design to make sure of some safety details that are very important. There are some improvement ideas that can improve our device, which is increase the ability of the sounds, make it smaller but same function, a longer time of battery, and a waterproof device. Finally, the conclusion. The project focus is to make the user easier to bring it anywhere he or she want. It's a technology that will make you entertain anywhere and anytime you want. It can entertain because with just one device, a lot of people can hear it clearly, either they want to listen to music or watching movies, where will make everyone happy. So that's all from Group 6. Thank you and see you again.